Well, with all the changes coming to Mabo, I was bound to start seeing some things I do not like at all. And I don't think it would be too unpopular to say that I'm not alone in this boat. The Mabo team is deleting what I think is one of the best pieces of content this game has ever had. Many years ago, before Arcanas and the early days of Urg, this place introduced a concept to the game that really wasn't defined yet in Mab. The Holy Trinity, as some would call it. A dungeon with defined roles of a tank, support, and DPS. And when it came out, it was difficult and it was gatekept by gear, so typical Mab bullshit. But everyone that could run it, I think it would be safe to say, found it to be good content. It showed what Mabinogi was capable of. It brought to light the importance of other roles that aren't specific to damage, but most importantly, it was and still is quality content, which was something we weren't getting a lot of for a long time in the game. As most of you know, I am talking about Subject Theta, that kooky strange place off in the distance hidden in the forest. But alas, after a very sudden message on a Monday at 3 p.m. PST, players were greeted with the following message. With our next update, New Rise, in November, significant changes will be made to the core of Mabinogi itself, ranging from dungeons to gear. While we plan to provide more details of this expansive update soon, we would like to inform you that due to these changes, the Apocalypse raid, Subject Theta, will be removed from the game with the release of this update. Due to the changes made in-game throughout the last few years, the dungeon no longer aligns with the recent balance direction and structural changes that will be introduced with the New Rise update. As a result, we have come to the unfortunate conclusion that its removal is necessary. However, we ask for your understanding as this content no longer fits the current game environment, and has shown very low usage rates, leading to the decision to remove it. This also means the following will also be removed from the game, or will no longer be available, which they go on to talk about the title you get for completing it, the quest, and the technique cards that come with Theta. And then they also talk about the pity coins that come from the dungeon as well. While the sources for obtaining these items will be removed, the items themselves will not be deleted. If you no longer need them, please discard them using the destroy function after the update. Players who have acquired the relevant titles, enchants, or the Bag of Darkness prior to the New Rise update will continue to hold on to their rewards. We apologize to those who enjoyed this dungeon, and those who did not have a chance to experience it, and hope that the numerous other upcoming changes will encourage you to try some other great content Mabinogi provides. Pretty standard human resources firing email. So right off the bat, I can actually agree with the fact that this dungeon does not align with the recent balance changes and structural changes that this game has with the New Rise update. But Theta actually hasn't been in alignment with the game ever since Arcanas were introduced and became the powerhouses they are now. And the roles in Theta are now superseded by Harmonic Saints, Saint Guardians, and all the DPS Arcanas. Like, you could shit on the boss pretty easily with all the Arcana stuff. But let me ask the simple question of, why not just update it to adhere to the changes you are making? Like, get rid of the tech cards needed, allow Arcanas to become the replacement, buff Subject Theta's HP, and you don't need to screw with the damage. Mechanics are also already fine. In fact, that's the point I want to make, the mechanics. Theta is no longer end-game content. You can do Theta at mid-game, and I believe it to be mid-game content. I would argue that Theta is an integral part of teaching mid-game players how to do in-game content, since Theta has mechanics that are the same or similar to what we see in places like Bree or Glen. In Theta, you need to avoid and address shit that's coming at you. You need to buff the party and debuff the boss, all while trying to kill the thing. There are probably countless players who started to learn what it takes to do later game content like Bree, Glen, and Crom 100s simply by learning to do Theta. So I'm kind of wondering what replaces that. Maybe they have something planned. I don't know. Like, maybe they're just fucking around as well. I don't know. Who knows what the fuck they're doing. But here's the reason they give us. We ask for your understanding as this content no longer fits the current game environment and has shown very low usage rates. Very low usage rates. Now, I don't want to be the tinfoil hat fuck that says like bullshit, but this kind of sounds like a lie. I don't know. But it's my initial reaction to that. Like, I just don't believe that statement to be true. Very low usage rates. Like, what demographic are they using to come up to that conclusion? Because I see quite a bit of people popping in and out of that place doing my weekly Thetas. Like, do they see that players are doing it 3 times a week because they do not know that it's capped to only 3 times a week? Do they see that a lot of players are duoing or soloing it? I mean, it also could be that I'm totally wrong and that people are not running it. Did they ever consider modernizing it? In terms of modernizing it, you also need to understand that Theta is not in Korea. So I might be assuming, but I don't think they want to put resources into modernizing it when the content is not in the biggest market, which I always found baffling to me. Why didn't Korea get Theta? Why didn't Korea get Ruin weapons? Will Ruin weapons be part of the New Rise update coming in November? I mean, if they're deleting Theta, which has no official support from Korea, the likelihood of Ruin and demo weapons meeting the same fate is pretty likely. Especially since the updates we get are pretty much copy and paste from Korea. We'll have to see what happens. Anyways, I'll try to be optimistic and say maybe, just maybe, they may have something in store for when we get the new engine. I mean, in the Unreal 5 showcase, they showed that armor bear from Fido Dungeon, and it seemed like it had some dimensions to it. Maybe we'll see Theta-esque bosses in the new Mabo, but just in different places. Maybe I'm being a fucking idiot too for thinking that. I don't know. Now, if you think Theta should definitely still be in the game, maybe consider sending a ticket in. Let your voice be heard. Anyways, rest in peace, Theta. What an amazing piece of Mabinogi content that's just going to waste.